What printers do Formlabs offer and how are they different? Let's talk about that next. All right, let's talk about Formlabs. There's actually a lot of innovation happening in the whole additive manufacturing space, and Formlabs definitely has some tangible differences in what they're doing. The biggest and most noticeable difference is how they print the parts. So they actually print them upside down. So, and this is basically stereolithography. So you're using a resin. So what they do is they lower the plate, the print plate, down into the bath, and they shoot a laser from the bottom, and that's how they, wherever it hits is where you're going to get solidified material, and they move that up over time. A big difference that they have with this approach is they have, between the laser print head and the material that makes up the bottom reservoir, if you could even call it that, the reservoir that holds the resin, they have very fine control over the thickness of the resin that is up against the plate. And what that lets them do is they have very fine control over the part, how the part is printed. So you can get to a very fine surface finish, very fine control on how the part is actually printed. So that's one advantage. Another advantage of this approach, however, is that when you go bottom up, right, you're printing the part progressively as you move the print plate up, is that your reservoir of resin can be much, much thinner and much smaller. Okay, so why is that a big deal? Well, because with other SLA printers, you have this really deep reservoir, and the depth of that reservoir determines how big of a part you can print. And the problem with that is if you want to switch resins to use different materials, and Formlabs has lots of different materials, it's kind of painstaking to move all of that resin out with traditional printer and then get a new resin in. But with Formlabs, with their printers, because you have such a small reservoir, you can switch those out very quickly and very easily. Another advantage with this kind of fine-tuned control and going from the bottom up is that it has lower stresses on the part as it's being printed, and that allows you to have very fine structural supports. So there's not as much post-processing that you need to do in terms of structural removal. You still have to cure it and that type of stuff, and Formlabs has capabilities with that. So there's lots of interesting capabilities here. They print faster, finer control, and if you're working with and also with the materials, they have a wide variety of materials, viscoelastic and all that type of stuff. Wide range of properties. So, if you need some parts that maybe are a little bit different, that you need fine control, then this is a really, really good fit. It's a very viable alternative to plastics and going with plastic injection molding. And they also have some production capabilities, so you can get a whole bunch of these printers alongside their curing stations and kind of use that in an automated production type of environment. So that's it. Formlabs has some unique capabilities that differentiate them, and they're getting a lot of traction right now. That's it. Take care and talk soon.